Good morning, Dawgpound South campers. This is the Cleveland Browns Dawgpound South podcast, pregame edition. Browns at Bengals, part of the Fanatical L's Network, part of the Fans First Sports Network. I'm your host, Steve Gill. First of all, I'd like to give a shout out to a new viewer, my brother-in-law, Chick, down in Tampa. He's not a Browns fan. He's a Buccaneers fan. So he's happy this morning. He woke up very happy. Man, I watched that game. Tampa's a little conservative on their play calling yesterday. But Baker was Baker. Just remember, Buccaneer fans, he'll probably break your heart if they make the playoffs. Okay, so here we go. Last game, week 18. Never thought this would end. It's been like, again, another death march. So let's talk about the game first. Bengals, we got to go back and look at the very first game, 17-16. Bengals win. The defense held Chase and Higgins in check the entire game, and that's back when they had Newsome. Miles got 2 sacks. They sacked Joe Burrow 3 times. So that's looking pretty good. Matter of fact, Burrow, I think, has been sacked the last 3 games, at least 2 to 3 times each game. So I'm pretty confident that Miles will get his record-breaking sack. He might get 2. If I'm Joe Burrow, I let him get it out of the way early. I mean, come on, just do it. I mean, don't do it like Brett Favre did with LT. And for you younger folks who don't know what it's about, Google that and you'll see exactly what we're talking about. Brett Favre just basically gave up so LT could get his sack. And, I think that's what Aaron Rodgers should have done last week. But will the Browns win? I saw the line. Did I see this correctly? 7.5. Bengals favored by 7.5. I know the over-under is 44.5. I don't know. The Bengals offense runs through Chase Brown, and he's close to 1,000 yards. Real close, I think. Very close. So I'm sure he's going to be motivated. I'm sure he has bonuses in his contract if he gets to 1,000 yards. And once he gets going, their offense really starts clicking. So the Browns did fairly well against the run last week in Pittsburgh. Warren, who I hate because he drives me crazy because he always has good runs against the Browns, was very good. I think he had 65 yards, if I'm not correct. But still, Browns defense needs to show up. I know, Miles get his sack. Don't play for the sack. You did that against Buffalo, and it really didn't work. Play the run. Stop the run. I have full confidence in Denzel Ward and Tyson Campbell can really put a hurting on Lamar Chase and T. Higgins. I really do. They first game, they really held that high scoring offense in check. So with Newsome and Ward, and Campbell is way much better than Newsome. So my only worry on the secondary is Ronnie Hickman. Since week 10, his play has completely fallen off. So it's going to be up to the other safeties, Delpit and Jenkins, to step up a little bit. Offensively, well, this O-line is a mess. We've seen it. I just hope that Shedeur Sanders doesn't make too many mistakes. As it was pointed out to me on Monday, he has had, in the last 3 games, 2 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I went back and looked at the game last week against the Steelers. Oy. The almost pick 6 and the last interception those bad, very bad. So they need to get the running game going. That's all. If the Browns can get the running game going, you don't have Fannin, and his play last week kind of fell off after Fannin got re-injured his groin. So Jerry Jeudy is just going to have to step up, and so is Cedric Tillman. This is an offensively challenged team, no doubt. Could they win this game? Yeah, they could. Do I think they're going to win this game? I don't know. I really don't know. I think 7.5 is a little bit high for this, knowing how the secondary is played this year. I mean, Tyson Campbell had one hell of a game last week. So, I don't see 7.5. I could see the Bengals winning. I'd love to see the Browns keep it close. And then Andre Smith hits a game-winning field goal of around 50 yards with time running out. That would be your full circle karma moment for this team. I just hope and pray the special teams coverage unit, that's where this team has really failed. Their coverage units, kicks and punts. I just hope that they can come in here and let's end the season and send Bubba out on a good note, because he's out of here. So, yeah. Can they win? I hope they do. I will never root against the Browns when they're playing an AFC Central. Shows you how old I am. AFC North opponent. When they're playing the Ravens or the Steelers or Bengals, I always root for a W. Frankly, I am not impressed with this quarterback draft. And I'm just not impressed with it. It's a little better than last year, and last year wasn't that great. So let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about the elephant in the room. Okay, everybody knows what the elephant in the room is. It's will Barry and or Stefanski be back? I've heard from my guy, and Jimmy Haslam is still 50-50. He has only told one person what the decision is. He hadn't even told Andrew Berry or Kevin Stefanski. Dave Jenkins, team's president, probably the only other person, well, and Dee Haslam, who I think is the smarter. She's a better business person than Jimmy is. So that's probably the only other person that knows what's going on. I've also heard that it's 50-50. If they win today, does that make a difference? Nobody knows. If the players go to Haslam and tell them, like players like Miles and Denzel Ward and Joel Bitonio, to keep him, because these are the guys that went through the garbage years. Will that make a difference? I don't know. All I know is Jimmy Haslam accepts his responsibility for the Deshaun Watson debacle. And it was a debacle. It put this franchise behind. No first-round draft picks for 3 years. There's your talent right there. Guaranteed contract. That's all on Jimmy Haslam. He was the one who put up the guaranteed money. He said, let's do guaranteed money. Okay, it wasn't Paul DePodesta. It was Jimmy Haslam. So, do you fire your head coach of 6 years because you made the mistake of putting a giant cap hit and a draft capital shortage on your team? Jimmy recognizes the fact that Kevin has had to go through quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. But conversely, he is not happy with the way the situation went this year. He's not happy with the way the team played. He expected better. I don't know why. I mean, look at your quarterback room and your wide receiver room and your aging offensive line. Why Jimmy thought better, I have no earthly idea. But he is truly 50-50 right now. The whole Kevin will quit, I can't see that. I just can't see him saying, you know, I resign, unless he's already got a deal in his back pocket. I can't see that. As for the trade thing, I've been told that it's not on the table, but I was also told that, you know, it's Jimmy Haslam. So you never can say never. I truly don't know what's going to happen, win or lose. This is very highly unusual. Usually there's some little tidbits, but all I'm hearing is it's very, very quiet in Berea, and it is truly 50-50. And the only people that know is Jimmy Haslam and the president of the Cleveland Browns, Dave Jenkins. And that's it. I mean, there are no leaks coming out. So if you read stuff like you did yesterday, which was all a bunch of garbage, I was told all that crap was garbage. And again today, garbage. I mean, Rossini, I was told that if you really read what she said, she kind of puts it, she hedges her bet. So if he's retained, she can say, well, I told you he's coming back. See, that's what the national media does. They always protect themselves. No matter what happens, they try to stay on both sides. So I truly don't know. I have the feeling that Andrew Berry is back. I don't know. It's just a hunch. I think the draft class of 2025 saved him. I know a lot of reporters are saying, well, they're a package. So if they're a package and Berry is coming back, that would mean Stefanski is coming back. Personally, I want him to come back. I think Andrew Berry can fix this team offensively in one off season. I think they could do it with trades and free agent signings and then the draft. A lot of people concentrate on the draft, but with Berry, it's always as soon as the league year starts, and he gets it started at the combine, that's when the deals are made by trades and free agent signings. So I'm going to be cautiously optimistic. Besides, do you really trust Jimmy Haslam to hire a coach? I mean, what's the guy going to do? They're going to come in, if it's their system and what they want to do, you're going to get rid of the current coaching staff. And don't say hire Jim Schwartz. Jim Schwartz is a step down. Jim Schwartz won 9 games for the Detroit Lions and got them in the playoffs 1 year. Everybody's hanging their hat on that. I can't see it. So you're going to get rid of Schwartz. You're going to get rid of Tommy Rees, who's been getting better. You're going to get rid of the entire coaching staff. And what if this new coach doesn't want to deal with Shedeur Sanders? They don't have a quarterback. I'm sorry. They don't currently have a quarterback. They have quarterback potential, but they have no quarterback. That's why this job isn't as good as the Giants. Giants, they've got Jackson Dart. They're ready to roll. Tweak a few things here and there. They've got a pretty good defense. They've got a great wide receiver. Tweak a little thing here and there. Boom. They move on. Browns have no quarterback. I hate to tell you Sanders fans this, but he has no quarterback. They're not going to get any better. You know, grass is not always greener, and I really don't trust Jimmy Haslam. If Jimmy Haslam thinks that the new shiny object is going to get better, it won't. This team will get worse because basically they don't have a quarterback, and you're not going to get one in this draft who's going to get you to a winning record. So right now there are no candidates out there that I want. None. So I know it's tough to think about. I know that I've been told that, all the Browns fans out there, they harp on the fact that Kevin Stefanski wanted Dylan Gabriel. I've been told that's way overblown. Yeah, he liked him, but a lot of people liked him. Mike McDaniel liked him. Mike McDaniel was going to draft him before the Browns drafted him. I've also heard Mike McDaniel is safe in Miami. So good for them. So what's going to happen tomorrow? I truly don't know. Jimmy Haslam hired John Dorsey, who wanted to keep Hugh Jackson instead of Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott was available and was suggested to interview, but no, he kept Jackson. And then the next year, he could have interviewed Dan Campbell, but instead kept Freddie Kitchens. This is the type of decisions that Jimmy Haslam is going to make. Everybody forgets they hired Kevin Stefanski before they hired Andrew Berry. They really, truly aren't a package deal. So when you're thinking about what's available out there in the quarterback market, sure. Malik Willis would be nice. I've always liked him coming out of college. I thought he was overdrafted even then. But, and then you hear reports that Jimmy wants to get Arch Manning. Well, to get Arch Manning, they're going to have to completely tank in 2026. Are you ready for that? Are you actually ready for them to actually attempt to tank in 2026 so they can take Arch Manning? Because that's what's going to happen. They have to guarantee that they'll get the number one pick. I'm not ready for that. I'm too old for this crap. I have seen enough rebuilds since 1999, and I hate it. So I'm willing to let Andrew Berry do what he did again in the 2026 draft. Get the offensive line fixed. Get some weapons in here, wide receiver talent in here, a number one wide receiver. I don't care where you find him, draft, sign, trade, whatever. He's been pretty good at trading wide receivers. He brought in Amari Cooper, who had 2 hell of a good years, and a lot of people don't like Elijah Moore, but Elijah Moore had his best 2 seasons with the Cleveland Browns. So I am willing to go one more time with this front office and this coaching staff, and let's see what happens. Watson will be gone in 2027, and if they fail miserably in 2026, so will Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski. And then we can start anew. The Browns can start anew. Watson won't be on the books for a full amount. They'll June 2nd cut him, June 1st cut, and he'll be split between 2 years. They will have plenty of money to spend, not the normal amount, but they will have money to spend in 2026, and they do have draft capital. The one thing I do not want them to do is waste a pick trading up for any of these quarterbacks. I'm not really that high on Mendoza. So this is a situation where you're going to roll the dice if you're going to roll the dice with Kevin Stefanski, you might as well just bring in somebody to compete with Shedeur Sanders and see what happens. Hopefully a full offseason will help this kid and get all his bad habits that he had in college, which he had many. You can't forget he was sacked 94 times in college. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting game today, only for the fact that during the game, people are going to be saying, well, that's why he's going to get fired, or that's why he's going to be retained. Don't listen to any of it. Like I said, Jimmy Haslam right now is the only one that knows. And right now it's 50-50, straight up 50-50. So that's what I can tell you. That's what I was told. I will take what my guy says to the bank any day of the week. So enjoy the game. Let's hope Miles gets that sack. Thank you for listening, watching, subscribing, and following us here at the Fanatical Elves Network. This has been the Cleveland Browns Dawgpound South podcast, brought to you by Hemisphere Coffee, where they shake the hands of the farmer. I know good coffee because I used to own a coffee shop, and I learned to be a barista at 58 years old, and I was the best barista in the coffee shop. So I know good coffee, and this is good coffee. So everybody have a great day. Go Browns. This has been the Cleveland Browns Dawgpound South podcast, part of the Fanatical Elves Network, part of the Fans First Sports Network. Enjoy your day, and the offseason starts tomorrow. Everybody, have a great one. Go Browns.